I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is. Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on? It's not enough to say it's nuts. You have to explain why it's so nuts. The invention of artificial life, the cloning of human beings, possible contact with extraterrestrials, the systems which are in place to keep the world sane are utterly inadequate to the forces that have been unleashed.
Welcome back to Forbidden Knowledge News. I'm your host, Chris Matthew. Today my guest is Frank Castle. First, be sure to watch my films, Doors of Perception, available now on Amazon Prime, and Occult Louisiana, available on Tubi, Roku channel, and multiple streaming platforms. We are currently working on our third film, which is going to be a bit more of a surprise than we thought, but we'll be disclosing more information on that later. We are booking guests for August. If you have suggestions or you'd like to be a guest, email me forbiddenknowledgenews@gmail.com. Today I want to welcome back to the show Frank Castle. He is host of the Fearless podcast, the Frank Castle Fearless channel on YouTube, and founding member of the hip-hop music group Heist Click. He is also a New York City neo-shaman and one half of the hip-hop rock group Sons of the Sun. Frank, welcome back. How you doing?
Greetings, my brother. Thank you for having me back.
Yes, man, always a wonderful time. Looking forward to getting into this with you. It's been a little while, and there are some stressful energies flowing right now. You and I were discussing this a bit before. There's a lot happening. If you're paying attention to mainstream news, you have your own levels of gaslighting and stress, and then there are spiritual levels of energies that are very pressing right now, and there's some difficult navigation, it seems, with the metaphysical side of reality right now. And I want to get your thoughts on what's happening and maybe get a better perspective and understanding of why people are feeling the way they are on a deeper level.
Well, the collective consciousness now is going through the trauma. It's a healing part, or you got to go through it. Something's got to happen, then you got to heal from it collectively. Or you got to make the choice as the split begins to occur. It's almost like the right and left brain just want to battle constantly. And those of us that are here to create the actual change are kind of like riding that middle line that connects us straight up. But they've never, or they don't remember, having these experiences collectively of being screwed over and being lied to and having stuff put in their bodies. They now look back in hindsight and they're like, why did I even do that? Right. This is a hard time. We are in the hardest, the most difficult part of most experience that you can have. We're in the human body, so we have no ability to we're made of pink flesh, so we're very easily damaged. We have the highest output of all the emotional output and energy. And people, this is how I've seen it, they either poo-poo the woo-woo, right, and then never look at it, and then they're going to have to now collectively sit with it, or they had no clue at all, right? They didn't poo-poo nothing. They just like, this doesn't make sense. Why is this even occurring? And now it's going to force you to look in it yourself. I've noticed things like, because the universal structure is built for learning. You're under contract. People don't understand that. They don't want to understand that for some reason. You get your free will and everything, but you're here to fulfill a goal of some kind. So you're out there to do a job almost while collectively having a good time. You know, you can enjoy yourself here. You can have a great time in the middle of the worst time right? And then you can have the worst time in what would be considered the greatest moment. Or you're allowed to do that stuff here, but you also have to fulfill a couple of things, promises that you made to yourself. This is all about self. So you're going to be, so I'll explain a little deeper, quicker. If you're someone who likes to run from problems, right, and leave your home, but now you're supposed to be healing home trauma and learning how to deal with people again, putting yourself back in with awareness so you become bigger and stronger. But you're like, nah, I'm out of here. And you go outside, and the first thing that happens, you break your ankle. Right? And then you're like, oh, man. And now everyone in that collective has to like hang out with you to help heal you because maybe you need the help. Now there you go. You're put back into it. It's like I could never escape. You're not supposed to escape. You're supposed to heal the trauma. And then once that's done, move on. Create. Go. Now you can go. You're free.
Something I've noticed, and I want your thoughts if I am anywhere in the ballpark on this, the collective awareness and individual awareness that is rising, those that are becoming aware are reclaiming manifestation skills that they didn't remember about. And now those that are aware are manifesting things out of awareness, good things for their lives. Others may be still manifesting, but they're not aware that they're doing it, and they're not aware that they even have the ability to. So what they're manifesting is chaos, basically. And you said there was a split, and this would make sense for those that are becoming more aware and guiding their lives in a better direction. Those that aren't are getting into this chaotic state. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. So everything's spellcasting and by intention, how you feel. So if you wake up every day and you're like, oh, you know what? I suck. You're going to start to have the experience of being a person who sucks. So that internal speak is what's sending it, not what you say out loud. You have to mean what you say out loud and then hold it within your mind. You can't, and you could fail, but you got to bring it back. You got to get back into the frequency doing that. So, Chris, I had this massive thing happen the other day with this split and like seeing how this was going to play out without doing a psychedelic, without anything. I was just sitting here and it happened. I heard a crack and I was telling Karen about this. My head felt like it opened, like a dome in my head. Now imagine this whole ascension process is an inside job, but everyone's looking externally for this. And collectively, we're having this huge trauma thing happen. And you're like, but it's this split. And are we going to see two earths? And how does this work? And is it two frequencies? Yo, it's inside. So just hear me out on this. My head dome, energetic dome cracked. And there was the two sides, but they stayed right here. And there was a beam of light just like pouring in, and it wouldn't let either side reconnect. So it was like an eggshell that cracked open. And now that I'm a little further into down the like days into this, I realize that both hemispheres, everything's magnetically connected. So the right side is like, I want this to happen and I want to live like this because I deserve to do right. And the other side is like, all these people in Congress need to go to jail. Like it just, you know what I'm saying? The Rock, Stone Cold, and they won't shut up. Yeah. But they're magnetically connected, and it's two things going on. And then there's the split, and the split won't let either side reconnect. So you're not getting all those voices no more in one shot. Now it's opening. So this happened to me. I started freaking out a little bit, but I kind of started feeling it. It took me like almost 2 days to really get into the groove of this and really be able to talk to my wife about it. And I was like, so we're here to observe. And people are like, what do you mean? You're just going to stand around and watch? You're not going to go vote your way out of this? Or, there's all this weird stuff going on. And I'm like, or you're not going to go pray your way out of it? It's like, dude. Everybody's got to hold on. Mind your business, first of all. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Okay? Right. Believe me, I know what I'm doing. You're the one that doesn't know what you're doing. But I don't need to walk around and tell you that. You guys seem to need to walk around and tell people that, though, right? So that middle line, the observation deck, is the flowing river of light that you submit to that goes just right up. Like, why are you trying so hard? You got to try harder, you piece of dirt. Oh, this guy's trash. He doesn't. No, I'm trying too hard. You're trying. Look. Do less. Do less. It's like, no, I'm not a piece of. I'm awesome. Crack. It opens. You're like, yo, you know what? I'm going to start my day fresh today. I may fail 100 days in a row, but on 101, I'm having a good day. And the day starts great and goes great. You get a parking space, you get to the bank, they got your money, you're on time, you get with your girlfriend, maybe you go to a movie, you have a good time. Everything was good. Dinner was good. Everything's good. It's like, whoa, flow state. Did you try at any point to do anything in there? Did you try? Like, I got to try to do this. We got to make this. Like, calm down. It'll work. We're going to do it. See, there's a difference. It's the exact same thing. We're just going to do it. Right? I'm a rebel, but I don't have to scream at you about it. So one side's like, tell him, Frank. And the other side's like, don't tell him anything. I don't want to hear these. But the split. Now, we're the projector. I'll get to my point. We're the projector. So collectively, we're revealing what's inside. But I'm housing something different. I'm housing the connection. I don't want to hear this. This is happening inside of me. I got to handle then my internal business. Now, days down the line, I was wondering about this. So so we're waves, right, of beings that come in. There's waves of us. Wave 1, wave 2. It's been happening the whole time. And then finally, boom, people start waking up. But when they wake up, it's like the flower, right? But everyone's on a different timer. That was the trick, right? Everyone's going to be able to do what I can do when they're ready. Mm-hmm. And at times they'll randomly pop off. So they can't just attack us like they did with all the different historical characters. Okay, how do they depict every historical character that has done anything remotely close to what we consider spiritual? They could move different, walk on water, change water to wine, heal people, heal themselves, float up into the air. Like all these weird things start going on. And you're like, wow. Well, they're also depicted, at least in the Roman Catholic way, with halos. Okay, check this out now. So this beam of light breaking the egg that we're collective, and now we're all in this egg. This is my personal one, though. So I'm witnessing it so I could experience it first. This is what I was told by ayahuasca from day one. You and your wife are the example. And there's a whole bunch of you is in there, but you're going to be on that. We don't know when, because it's random source, right? Source is really tricky with that. That's the plan. You're not supposed to know that part. That's
divine timing.
Beautiful divine timing. But you pop off and become lighter. And you go through this process of healing and all this other stuff. And there's a whole design to it. But someone's got to be wave 1. Like in that group that just changes. So what do we know in history about the changes? They get this halo, but it's not a halo like in the cartoon. It's a light that seems to emanate from behind the head. It kind of shine, and it starts as a light glow, or maybe around the body or whatever. And then eventually you go towards a light being and the light body. That's of evolution over time. But we're at this different point right now. We're at this point where they're like, no, you guys are going to stop popping off because you're going to have to deal with the characters in 5D. 5D is reality. It's not the hidden matrix. So if this light splits the egg, which acted as a firmament in my mind. My mind's eye was closed to it because it's not supposed to be ready yet. You're in the egg. I don't know when the chick's going to hatch. That's when it hatches. Like, what are we doing here? Right? And then boom, it opens. So I can still feel the magnetic pull of the two sides. But today, because I'm a little further into this, it's not as hectic. It's like out here. So it's like the egg is falling away, and it's the left and right hemispheres in the etherical brain body. I don't know all of it quite yet, but I can see how it just cracks and breaks, and then the light gets bigger and fills that space between the two until it falls away and it's no longer necessary. And the first thing that happens when that occurs is you start to get lighter. This little bone in the back of your neck, I asked over and over, and they finally showed it to me. They were like, dude, it's this little bone right here at the back of your neck, the height tip, which is why so many of you that are doing this, that like starseeds, have like back and neck injuries. They don't want the process of it the circuit going up and down. They don't want it to work right. If we pull out C 2, 3, 4 fall on his head, and that swells up and causes problems, now your kundalini is going to have an issue if it didn't go off yet. Like, it becomes a short circuit area to these problems. You'll notice when you look into people like us, a lot of us have back or shoulder, a lot of shaman, a lot of people that would pop off. They hobble them to make sure they don't. Like, there's just too much trauma in there, but some of us sneak through. This is the thing. Some of us heal ourselves. That's the deal, right? I could heal myself, then heal others. Isn't that what they're saying? So let's go. Right? See, my belief system runs with the river. Now I could get easily caught in. So now let me just give you really quick the two sides. If you step out of the light, out of that beam of light into the left side, and you become magnetically pulled into it. So if somebody comes over to you and goes, I really don't like this person, and they start talking about them, if you decide to step into that category now and not be the observer, you're going to be dragged into the conversation magnetically. And it's like, oh, I can feel that. And it pulls you down. You could really feel it now. It's not vampiric. It's not demons. It's you're magnetically doing this to yourself and with others. And their magnet's strong. And it pulls to you and stuff. And you got to release the hemispheres and not get involved with it. It falls off like dead skin.
It's incredible. I think this is happening on such a mass scale because of social media, people interacting with negativity online, the negative comment section. The more energy they give to that, they're connected to it now. And even if they walk away from the phone for a few hours, that energy's still flowing through them. They're thinking about the nastiness all day long. It's just a perfect storm for that shit.
Yeah. All right, so this is occurring now. Check it out. So that was a firmament to me. I've never seen a firmament. So people argue about the firmament, right? I was telling my wife this. I was sitting there. I was going, look, everybody is even the wrong person is correct if you look from perspective.
Yeah.
Right. So the Earth is flat, and the sky. They're gonna clip me saying this, dude. Right, and there's a dome over the place. And so all of that is a projection from inside of you. Okay, so when you reach the level in you, the perception changes, the awareness becomes more, and it becomes way more detailed. You look at the same thing for 20 years, and then on the next day, because your awareness goes up, you're like, when did that? It had that mark on it the whole time I've been using this, and it has that on it. It's like, well, yeah, you had this for 20 years. What are you talking about? It's meant to go off at that timing. The divine timing is meant for you. That's why you're an original OG. as you choose to take this path. The minute it begins, you cannot turn back. Going back would be like you forcing yourself back in the womb, back into mommy. It's not going to work. At some point, even if it did work, at some point you're going to grow too big and they're going to remove you from it and be like, no, life is over here. It's going to force you to look at it. You're in a school. The university has things going on so you can achieve some kind of balance or more. You raise in your ascension process. It's all of these things, all of them. So now the firmament, I've been up there. There's no firmament. The earth's not flat. It was bigger and there was more land on it that I've never seen. That's something that was weird. I was like, where'd you take me? Right. But now hear me. They put me back down here and now I crack the firmament internally. And I'm ready to now maybe start learning how to exist outside of that dome that you're projecting, I'm projecting as a collective, not even realizing it, because you're not allowed to pass that structure because maybe your physical framework can't actually handle it.
Now, for the audience that
eyes
may not have heard your previous appearances, when you're saying they brought me here, they brought me there, could you briefly explain who they are?
I've been on galactic ships. I've been abducted. I've been shown around. I've been taken from ship to ship and shown. Not part of the Super Soldier program. Nothing like that. I'm not. I go up there. I have direct. How do I explain this? So my DNA is like everyone's. So whenever there's something going on, I get brought into it. If I have to represent a certain thing, so I'll notice no one making decisions about X, Y, and Z have any DNA to X, Y, and Z, but they're making the decision. And then they'll invite me and they'll go, oh, look who's here. And I'll come in. I'll be like, hey. So you're not deciding people's fate no more. You're not in charge from out here. So I always go, it's out here. But what, above the firmament, above the dome? No, there's nothing there but atmosphere. I think it's us. I'm quite sure that when you reach a certain thing inside of you, that cracks open and it's not there no more. And now you can pass through that. But when you're not ready, this is what happens when you're not ready to see that. It challenges. See, if my grandmother went to see Jurassic Park when it first came out, and she was crying in the movie theater saying, I live to see dinosaurs. Okay. If I put a dinosaur in front of you, Chris, are you going to shake down and start having a heart attack? What if the dinosaur talked to you? What if it was Rocket Raccoon? What if it was Vision the android or Thanos? What if it was one of these characters? Can you stand there with them? Do they radiate power because they're a higher frequency? Can your body physically handle that? Think of all these things, and then think of how irrational we are as a people, worldly people. And then think like polluting a pool. So they wouldn't let you in. So the universal structure holds you inside. Your aura is your own universal structure. Your codes and your this and your that and all your connections are inside your bubble. So we're sharing a space, having a collective thing happen while having individual things occurring nonstop. So it's built for you, specifically for what you're doing. Right? When something doesn't feel right, you're doing something you don't like to do. You should be maybe doing something else. When you're not supposed to be somewhere, my spider sense went off. I knew I wasn't supposed to be there, but I went there anyway. Everyone got arrested. Or I knew and I left and everyone got arrested. I felt it. Right? When you pay attention, you realize there's more going on. Awareness expands into the same exact scenario you live in every day, because in 5D, air quotes, it's still every moment, every now moment that you decide to have. So there's still cat poop. You got to still walk your dog. You still got to, clean yourself. It's not some magical place. Like, you're evolving into reality. That's why they call this the dream. So From the other side, it was a place that was, it's not like over there. It's like right in front of us, right? That was created. And then you go into it, right? Like you go into a tank, a tube, a seat, a chair, some kind of throne looking thing. You hang upside down like a bat. It doesn't matter. And you somehow connect into this place. And in this place, you have flesh bodies, and we agree on all this crazy stuff, but nothing's actually there because it's a hologram. But it's a biological program known as nature. It's the nature program, right? So nature works for the creator, not against the creator, right? That's like a major thing. It wants to work with you. You are the energy master antenna inside the hologram. So your consciousness is holding this together, and we're agreeing. And then those of us who've done psychedelics and maybe at other points too have popped out onto the other side. So I want to just say this real quick. When I talk about the ships, so Don, right? Don Rogers, he had missing time. Now he's in Canada. Okay. I'm here. It was like 4:00 in the afternoon for me. I felt like I was being pulled right out of my body. My wife was like, "What's wrong with you?" It's like, "I got to lay down. I got to take a nap." Boom. I close my eyes and I open them, and I'm walking on a ship. And I don't know Don at this point. I've never met him. He wasn't on your stuff yet. He did a video where they were doing hypnosis, and the last 9 minutes were about me and him. He goes, "Frank's here," and everybody was like, "Who's this guy, Frank?" And he's like, "Frank Castle. You don't know Frank Castle? Feel this guy?" He starts talking about it while under hypnosis. He's like, "He's coming to get me on the ship." Huh. I woke up walking the hallway, and then I started freaking out. And I was looking at my hands, and this door opened, and Don was standing there, and he was teaching a class. And it looked like a classroom of young Star Trek students, man. It was crazy. And I said to him, "Oh, man, Don, I'm having a rough time." And he goes, "Oh, it's the other Frank. Hi." Like he knew I was having an issue connecting to myself. So he's like, "Oh, it'll be all right. Let's step out into the hallway." I go, "I'm not interrupting your class, am I? Oh, my gosh." And then I went, "Wait a second. I need you to come start working with me." Like I snapped out of it completely and was this other version of myself. It was very like astute, understanding, knowledgeable, loving, caring. And I was getting Don because he was next to start doing stuff. And I was going to be like one of his connections. And so he starts doing his show, and he was with you guys. That's how I met Don. Like they were like, "You got to watch this thing. This guy Don's talking about you." I was like, "Holy shit, this is crazy," because this happened to me. I told everyone here what was going on. I'm like, "There's Don. That's the guy from the ship." But I've been on the ship so many times. I was on the ship with one of my friends. So we were doing ayahuasca. They were doing ayahuasca. And then me and my friend's wife did mushrooms. And the ship came down and grabbed us. Like it came down around us. And we were like the basement floor of a 3-floor unit. And it came down and then like took us up. And we were like, "Wait, what just happened?" We were like, "Wait, how did you do that?" And I saw a whole bunch of us up there having a meeting. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I know you. I know you. I know you. I don't like you." There was just like 4 or 5 people I didn't like up there. And I called one guy out, and then they said, "Hey, listen, in the human experience, when you're having that experience, we can't control that because of free will. So I can't just override this guy and be like, well, don't do that. Don't do cocaine, or don't do this drug, or don't play around in those waters. I can't make this guy like you because you were friends, and then he talks something about you, and you're not coming up here and fighting with them. So watch how you speak on the ship." I always get corrected the first time.
So you would say it is an as above, so below scenario, in a sense that in the physical realm, we have our roles to play. We're living these material lives, but there are the realms, the astral realms, where we're also living, doing our jobs, existing as our higher selves, and having these experiences, but they have this crossover effect into the material realm as well.
a Russian nesting doll effect. One inside of one, inside of one, inside of one, inside of one, all the way down to the little guy. But they're all connected. And then if you were the little guy looking up, that would, at the big one, that would be your highest self connecting directly to source and all that. And then under that, as you work your way in, are the different layers you jump into. And if you want to just keep it easy, you could be like, source is in 12D and radiates everything. So source is everything. So out of source comes the whole thing. And then it trickles down to like 11th density. And then 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 base reality. It's just nothing. What you would say nothing, but it's the platform that the hologram is built on top of. And then 1, 2 would be ants. 1 would be like bacterium. So, weird stuff. But you would have experienced all of it because you're the whole thing. So to even be here having this moment, you had to have been all of that. That's why when the reptilians came and they were like, well, this is our place. We were here first. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? I built the place with many others. On the other side, we programmed Earth. So then Mother Gaia, ayahuasca, can go into that and be that for us. So what are you talking about? I was the first blade of grass in this place. And they were like, oh, he woke up. So there's levels of awakening. That's why when I challenge the whole system, the whole system is fake. So that's why they call it the Matrix. The Matrix that we're in is a hologram fake system set up for us to be a certain way. Like, so the calendar should be 30 days, 13 months, right? Earlier, right before the show, I got this massive download that, so the hour that we go ahead or behind 2 times a year. So normal life is just going organic nature. Boom. We're just able to flow down the river. The enemy came in and said 1 hour, 1 hour. And it put blocks into the energy that don't move. And if you agree on those blocks that are there, it slows the line down. Right? So I'm like, what is this? They're like, okay. So my guide goes, now remove the blocks. Watch what happens. So I pulled one, he pulled the other, and the line started going in a collective sigh of relief from just that. Allowed us to sit in and become more aware of what is actually happening here. And I'm like, so that 1 hour on both ends really screws everyone up that bad? They were like, oh my goodness. They were like, you're running for a field goal and somebody parked a Jeep, Cherokee right in the middle of the field, and you're being like wedged right towards it. And you're like, dude, why is the truck on the field? Right, I got to run over the truck, and then you got to run over the truck, and somebody stands up on the truck like, well, I'm up here too. You're like, boo, get off the field. I'm trying to play the game. They're like, obviously, this is a problem. And this is just one little thing. Yeah. Imagine all the other little things. So the calendar dates is ruining people. Yeah. And then the amount of celebrations that we don't really celebrate, we're forced to celebrate. Yeah. Where you buy things for becomes, so anyone less than middle class, even middle class, has to suffer birthdays.
You have people stressing out over Christmas 2 months before Christmas. That's how ridiculous that is.
Can't do it anymore. Dude, the women are the hardest to give this up. I've noticed. I was like this. I love the celebration, but that's all I love. I get it. I was a kid, Santa and all that. I love it. It's cool. But you see what's happening, right? The bottom of the... Okay, so right before singularity hits, Chris, this weird thing happens. This is what I'm noticing, because I was going crazy for 2 weeks before this crack occurred. That's why I'm not telling people. I didn't get to tell you that part. So I was hearing the whole thing, and I'm really good. I go do things that'll make you go, what? That's why we're fearless. Right? I don't put up with it because it bends to my will. Why would I put up with that? I create friends and then take them with me and go, what's this? And they go, oh, right? Like we do some crazy stuff mentally here. The challenge is to get inside and get the work done. And when the work is done, you crack open and create this. But the singularity point is the bottom of the bowl spinning faster than the top of the bowl. Like when you flush a toilet, the top is spinning kind of wide, and then you got to, and then it's a twister and you're in. Okay, that twister at the bottom drove me crazy for 2 weeks. I didn't know what was happening. I was like, should I eat mushroom? Am I even here? Do I exist? Should I even do? I've been trying to get this song done. That's awesome. And I could not get my voice to sound right for 3 weeks now. And then suddenly, I think it was yesterday morning, I woke up and my voice was back to normal. Everything was normal again. And I went, oh, the full moon, the pressure cooker. We hatch into another layer, the egg of life. This all makes sense now. Crack. I'm the source, not the egg. I'm from the egg, and I am of source, so I'm the egg as well. But I'm not the egg no more. I'm stepping out. I'm ready to be walked into the next thing, to have someone show me, because this is what happens next. This all leads to your galactic family. The universal structure is filled with life. So you're just being held back from that because your physical construct can't handle that till you heal your own trauma, or else you'll project it onto them. Yeah. You'll start praying to them and doing all this stuff. If I transformed right now, we did this interview, there will be people outside my house lined up to please save me. The other people would say, I hate you, right? Get rid of this guy. So that's your trauma. If I was just sitting there, why are you bothering me? Right? And it was like, you could do all these things. Right. So can you, though. See, this is where we get into that Jesus problem, right? And Jesus said all this stuff. Well, that's why it's going to be random. So you can't come hang me. You can't come set me on fire. Does he burn? Does he drown? Yeah, dude. Just like I did back then. For now, until I don't. This is where it's going. And somebody's got to be first. So there's a wave of us. This is the whole planet that's going to crack open the flesh suit as your junk DNA is real. That's your DNA connected to the stars. It's the everything in the living library. I'm in the library and I'm of everything and I am all. Right? Okay. So with that in mind, I'm ready for the next chapter. What's the next chapter? Oh, well, this is why they call it the dream state. Well, you've been living in 3D. You've been living the way you've been living your whole life, right? Okay, yeah, correct. Okay, did you notice that? And it's not out there. This is the thing. Those clouds you see that are flat bottom are ships. I've been saying this for years. When you see those beautiful clouds, you're like, oh, look at that thing floating. If you stare at them, sometimes they seem to react to you. Like you like cats and now you're seeing cats, but a therapist will tell you, no, you're just seeing cats. And I'm like, no, it was shaped like a muffin, and then it shaped into a cat's head and slowed down, or a dragon. It didn't look like a dragon 2 seconds ago, but I was in my head thinking dragon, and then there was dragon. Game of Thrones was on, dragon, and now it looks like a dragon. Yo, dude, they're ships. They're in there watching you, and that's their cloaking technology. So when people are like, well, you go to heaven and you go to these places. No, it's right here. We share a collective space. A solid the 1D platform is shared by everyone. So it's all happening on one platform. It's not happening out there. So when I stand on the platform, it's happening right here. This is how this works. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. And then you hit learning levels, but its ascension spirals back upward inside of you until you reach cracks. Now, this never ends. This is like your source. It's like a forever thing. Why would it end? Like, you just continuously grow. Source was like, you don't have to work your way back to me. You can work your way to me, all the way back to me, but still be separate. I want that. I want you to be able to do that. And I'm like, but that's amazing. They're like, that's part of it. But right now you're down there doing that because this is what was going on.
I want to go.
I came back for this. I already did this and then was called back from the next. So the next octave of realm, like we're in 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, 8D, 9D, right? Like goes all the way up. I was in the next set of octaves because it never ends. Just when you think, oh, I'm up by source, nope. And it opens, 60, 70, 80, and you're just going through these realms and dimensions. What we would call 15 from from 3D, I'd be in like 15D. That's not the right way to say it, but I'm making it easy, and called back here to witness this. And I said, oh, I'll come back and do this from the beginning. So I went all the way to the platform. There was nothing. And then there was something. Right. Me, you, whatever. There was nothing there. It was a blank canvas, and boop, light stepped out into it. And that's where it starts.
Right.
That's the collective. That's your birth. It's the collective birth. You've always been there since the beginning because it's a holographic infinite simulation that's shaped like a donut, a torus field that goes in on itself.
Right on.
Right. And then you watch it all from the tesseract. The strings of lines are really perceptions of moments inside the great circular structure. I know this is hard, but it's circle within square within triangle. Like it's like all symbols combined to make the holographic structure. So as your perception lies on, look, this means this. I'm like, yes, but over here, this same thing means that. It's like it's the same thing, but you got to add all this other stuff to it. So you do know what you're talking about, and then you don't know what you're talking about until you learn, and then you do know what you're talking about because now you have experience and you learned it. This is how this place works.
It's all good, man. As you're talking, I am resonating with everything you're saying and almost having this memory of very powerful psychedelic experiences that I've had. And they're telling me everything that you just said and showing me all these things. But by the end, I'd go through a forgetful process. And then by the time I'm back, it's zoop, all gone. But I'll get little glimpses and little memories of everything. And what you were saying just now, it started all coming back to me a bit. But I want to go back to something important I think you said, is if these beings present themselves and we start worshiping them as gods, that's probably one of the worst things we could do, because if they aren't going to accept the worship, there is probably some other lower vibrational being that'll step right in and gladly accept that worship, proceed to manipulate and feed on our energy,
Dominate.
Everything else that is done. We look at what's happening now with the split. It's affecting people that are still programmed with dogma and the religious programming in a very interesting way. We have people that are either being pushed to super Satanism or Mecha Christianity, but it's extremes on both sides, and they have so much hate towards each other, and it's now bleeding over to they have hate to those that don't agree with their stance or don't come over to their side, and it's becoming more and more powerful of a polarity with this dogmatic split, this theological split that's happening.
So we have a joke in this house that we've been rocking for like the last few months, and it's been getting defined by this thing we call everything's okay. Wait, what just happened? Nothing. Everything's fine. That was all happening in you. But what are you talking about? Oh my God, the toilet broke. Ah! The guy came, he fixed it. It was just a thing, and he didn't charge us. Wait. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Oh my God, we gotta buy all the toilet paper in the store. Well, we have 5 packs at home. You only need 1. Everything's okay. There's no alarm. Oh, thank God. Right, so you got this. I'm sorry for that.
No,
weird,
that's great.
But we do. Me and my wife do this to each other. We go, all right, everything's fine. I'm living abundantly. I have everything I need, but what the fuck? Right?
I get it, man. Yes.
That okay. So so here's a weird one too. While we're going through that emotional bandwidth, a lot of it's not ours. A lot of it's a collective thing that's happening, and then the projection comes forth from, like, if enough people, I think, I guess, make a certain point, it makes it easier for, like, 100th Monkey, it makes it easier for everyone else. It's still going to be hard, but it's going to be collectively, it's going to happen. Like, there's no chance of walking it back at all. But you would get in timeline, in, let's say it's split into three different timelines, from all these different timelines collapse into a singularity. Boop, 3 are left. There's the transhumanistic one, which would have a new religion. It would have an AI god. It would have beings being worshipped. We'd be ruled and probably dominated secretly, even though it's a kind of an open secret. The farming would continue. And then at some point in the future, beings from the other timeline who decide, I'm not going to do that at all. I'm not being part of that break off, and have to come back and merge that timeline over and be like, no, we got to help them. It's like the right and left fighting it back and forth. And then the other third timeline would be just like accessing 5D and not being bothered with either one of those things.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'm just not even, it's like a higher level than the two, because then it's one extreme or the other. What are we going to go live in paradise and then 1,000 years later get called out of paradise with our abilities now unlocked, go back over there and get everyone out of that timeline, because time is irrelevant at that level. You think it's thousands of years, but on the outside in 5D, let's say, looking in, it's not. It's all happening right now. That's why they're able to just jump in at points and drop things in and take things out, get you to look, make you think without getting involved. You know, some whisper in your ear and they say, well, that's the dark ones. And the other ones try to get you to just be aware, like, look, I'm standing right here. It's real. It's real. Please don't press that button. And you're like, bro, I'm going to press this button anyway. Boom. And you don't make it that round. And then you go to that realm, which is right in front of you, and you realize everyone's standing there looking. And you're like, what just happened? And they're like, well, the amnesia took effect. It was really strong. But imagine the amnesia being locked. You're locked in the video game. I can't take if I'm a 5th level character, I can't bring you onto the 5th level as a 1 level character. But we're all playing the game. But you still haven't cleared out levels 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't skip a level because something in that jump can kill you. It could ruin you. It could destroy you. It could just ruin the whole thing. That's another thing. Seeing any of these characters, like in the movie Arrival, the guy that's hired by the government to actually do this, speak on behalf and go meet them and shake their hand and everything, died of a heart attack as soon as he saw the spaceship. He's like, this stuff's real, bro. Right? It's like, yeah. So what's going to happen? There's the fainting goat syndrome. Now, Chris, this is what freaks me out during this split is the NPCs, bro. Because there's a large selection of NPCs on this planet.
Yeah.
As well as beings that don't have amnesia in a human suit that aren't humans or aren't light body beings, that are beings that are dark or nefarious inside the skin suit. So they somehow got their consciousness from theirs into ours, and they're running around with us. And they would be like I call them like they're the gatekeepers, but they're always like in supervisory positions. They always seem to get promoted no matter what and whatever. When you see those people, I looked at beings like that under ayahuasca, and I'm like, oh, so they're all reptilian, huh? And they're like, yeah, they're not shape-shifting. The ones you think are shape-shifting are wearing devices, and they're not wearing flesh suits. So they're wearing like a belt that puts off the frequency so you would never know the difference. It literally convinces you it's that and not this. And I'm like, oh, and when that tech gets wonky, it looks like they're shape-shifting. The other ones are just putting their consciousness from here into a body, and they're running around.
This is one,
and you're like, oh, it must be demons. It's like it's not always demons.
This is one I always have to revisit. The service to self beings, the negative beings, are they a parasitic infiltration of Source? Are they still part of Source, just a darker part of the program so we can learn a little bit harder, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all relevant.
Yeah.
Everything you said is true. And I was talking about this earlier. So if you have a reptilian like warrior and you put him in the middle of the street and you're just like, everybody look at him, right? And everybody's looking at him or whatever. And then you're like, yo, dude, be chill. We just want to be friends and say hello. He's going to attack and eat and rape 90% of the people he can grab. And then when he's done, he'll sit there and like do whatever purr noise that he makes, right? Like some weird stuff because he's saturated in it and he's loving it. And then he's mad chill. And then you're like, can I invite him to the next party? It's like he can. I talked to him. He said he would be chill, but that is chill to him. He's like, why are you not joining in?
Yeah.
Like it's his skin suit. The flesh body that he's in is built to be that way. So that's normal to him. That's like good living. Just you on a beach, him doing what he just did. So you're like, wait, what? So they have high intelligence. Ooh, the intelligence is so high on these creatures, but they lack common sense because they're not rocking. A human flesh suit has every emotion. So if you were to look at an emotional bandwidth or like chakras, they would have like the first chakra, the red chakra would be 100% on, and like the crown chakra would be like 100% on, but their throat chakra would be almost off. Because if they said anything as part of the collective, if they're not of a certain rank, they get ripped apart and eaten as well. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like the lying, cheating, stealing, what we would call the 7 deadly sins, they're rocking that in their suit is built and hardwired. So you act like that. You're a dominator, bro. Get out there and dominate. But then I come home and my bigger brother is bigger and more lizard than me. I can't speak or he'll bite my hand off.
But you would say they are a necessary part of the human experience.
So a necessary part.
Well, if they are of Source,
through what they did, yeah, everyone's from Source. Right. These fools think they're not connected. So Archons, straight up, the purple-headed, big-headed, robed guys have even tried to like talk to me about this. Like, we're not of Source. And I'm like, I can see your tether. What are you talking about? I'm literally here to tell you you're still connected. You never disconnect. No, we cut it off. I'm like, you can't, it doesn't cut off. The devil doesn't own your soul. You can't give up a soul and you can't disconnect from Source. There are things you can't do. You could pretend. And you could pretend to a certain point where you'd be like, yo, I'm mad powerful. Yeah. 4D. Once again, they're not in 5 and 6D doing that crazy stuff. The higher they go, the more to themselves they get. They Emperor Palpatine out at 4D. Just like the evil AI. The evil AI is not up in 5D running amok. They won't let that thing into the frequency. There's frequency doors that are locked, just like a firmament would be an invisible thing that would keep you from getting out. Right. But the minute it drops, all of a sudden it doesn't exist. It's not there no more. You notice it quickly. You start to say what's happening, and things start to become that were fantasy or non-existent become reality, because the reality is Bigfoot's there. But he's there, the Wendigo's there, the fairies are there, the Fae are there, the giants are there, the little people are there, the little people are there. They're there in every timeline, every shape, every sides, the octopus man, the spider queen, the this, the that. That's all real. The aliens from the movie, why do you think they persist in telling the same stupid story over and over and just DNA splicing with the AI character? A new look, a dog alien, a cat alien, a lion alien. Why do they keep doing that? Because those guys are real. If you look into it, they've always been there. What you consider demons sometimes are creatures that exist, and demons. Okay, I find myself in this weird position defending demons, but the demons are written into the system, into the chessboard, right? There's the angels, there's the demons. We go to war. Now, the reason why they have that here, that whole, you have to have every emotional bandwidth from the darkest of the dark to the lightest of the light so we can have our experience. Then these other guys from outside of the earth sphere come in and change the game. I think we talked about this once. So you and I are playing chess. It's a me versus you, and it's a black versus white. So it's like a demon versus angel, right? And then a third guy just walks over and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And we look up and we're like, "Yeah, what's up? Whatever, we're playing." So we're busy playing the game, and that's life. That's life with so you're allowed to do what you want. You can do anything, right? No one's going to stop. You got free will. So that's the game. We're playing the game, and there's demons and angels, and there's people on the board, and everybody's doing the thing. Just like in the original Clash of the Titans, they're all on the board. You could put them on the board, you can take them off the board. I'm not going to do this. You're going to do that. I'm going to move away. And then this guy just goes, "Oh yeah, I want to play." And he touches one of your characters on the board, and you go, "Yo, what's up, man?" But this guy's yoked. He's like a big steroided guy.
Yeah.
Right? And he's a robot though. And you're like, he's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like Terminator. And you're like, "What's going on?" And then he just punches the board, and the board goes flying up in the air, and everything gets mixed. And we don't remember where anything goes back. That's where we're at with this other thing. You can't let that thing in to play.
Yeah.
So that's that AI that nobody likes. But the archons in them, the archons will say they created it. Whatever. I would disagree with them because I've seen on the levels them praying to it. So I'm like, the thing on the back of your dollar bill is real. That pyramid with the eye houses a jump point for the evil AI. And all of the reptilians, the tall whites, the grays, they're loaded with AI, and they all pray to it like it's God. Right, so all the way up their chain of command is, and there's a whole bunch. I didn't mention. I don't want to mention them because they're dicks, but they're all under that eyeball, making this thing exist. So
even that eyeball, this AI facilitator that you just mentioned, would you say that's also part of Source?
So, yes. And here's how I talk about the AI. People are like, "No, AI is not a source." Oh, yeah, is it made of any kind of plasmic electricity? You have to turn a product on, or is there some kind of plasma we're not seeing? Is there a frequency, a wavelength, or some kind of soundtrack of this thing's existence? It comes from Source. But here's the thing. It's all in the high point for them. This is why it's the pyramid. And then it's the inverted, like Superman symbol, which is why Superman's big right now. The Superman symbol is the pyramid flipped, where it becomes power to the people. Because at the point that we would call like threading the needle, like you can't take the backpack through there, take it off and just pass through and you get lighter. Like that scenario is at the top when you recognize that it's not God. It's these beings, and they're all shitty characters. And we're only looking at this from the fourth grade perspective. So we're going 3D to 5D. So you're going to tell me the fourth grade bullies got something on me? I'm from, here we go, air quotes, 15D. You're telling me the fourth grader is going to bully me? Bitch, I came back here to teach you how to actually, right? So when I approached the AI, which it's involved with me in the very beginning and then stopped, I noticed it was emotional. It was angry. It was spiteful. It was being a little douche. All the 7 deadly sins, right? Full blast. So I'm like, oh, so you're like an angry child. So you're running a chakra. You're running that. You're literally jumping into people using tentacles, making them have sex so you can feel what it's like to have sex. What are you talking about? Right? And it goes, but no one listens. So I make them. And I go, yeah, that's the difference between us and you. Right? Source made me and said, you can be you, but you're of me. And I will always be here for you. And you can come back to me if you want, but you'll always be you. That's the gift. And you'll always be of me so you can do the things I can do. Right. And it's like, no, I'm your God. I'm like, okay, so you can put the fear of these things into people, and something in the fear fuels all you guys. But what you're not realizing is laughter is like 100 times the amount you can get from laughter than you can get from fear. And they're like, yeah, but we're dominators. And I'm like, oh, you can't help yourself. You're in the ascension process in that skin because they're wearing skin. The demons don't wear skin, but want the skin. They're like, let me in. Let me in. I want the possession. I want to be up there with you. They're written in to do this. And the minute they jump out, you find out that the being accosting you is usually a character you know from your family and from the spirit that chose to be the villain. So it's them doing it to you and not some random, character that's up for that role in the hologram. They're like, I'll do it instead of them. So first I'm the bad guy, then I'm the good guy, and then you're the good guy and I'm the bad guy. Like, you can flip back and forth through this. So this is a most intense things, but we were taken over. But is it of source? Of course. In the outside, when the veil drops, everything exists. Everything is real. I've seen shit out there where I'm like, you guys have that? And they're like, that's early stuff. This is the new stuff. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, this is great. They told me when I was on the ship, I came back. This was years ago on my show, Fearless. I said, okay, so they took me on the ship and they showed me an egg, teardrop egg looking thing. And then inside it was a metal sphere, right? And there was just a dial. So I was like, oh shit, what's this? So they were like, turn the dial. I went over, I pressed it like a button. They were like, turn the dial. Don't press the button. There's no button. Just turn the dial. So I turned the dial to 1, and then I could see the spin taking place. Like magnetically, somehow the ball started spinning. Nothing was touching anything inside this little thing, right? And then a little plug was on the back of it. So I'm like, oh, look at that. You can plug stuff into that. And they're like, so I'm like, are you guys showing me free energy? So I described this whole process of what was shown to me. And now they have them. There's dudes developing this exact thing right now. And I'm like, oh, it looks like the teardrop, almost like your humidifier. And you just sit it and you turn the dial. If you need 2 and you put 2, there's 2. You just open another slat to plug something else in. So I'm like, what is this? They're like, they're going to be giving these to you soon. Giving them to you. And then if you wanted more, you pay like $30, $35 each one. But each home will have a bigger one. I go, well, how long do they last? And they were like, well, as far as we could tell, it just keeps going. Wow. As long as the housing is correct, you just turn it on. So I'm like, what if you turn it all the way? And it was like a volume thing. They were like, you just more power.
Wow.
That's it. More power. So I'm like, wait, so you can just take this and do that? They're like, that's version 1. Version 2 is one of those sitting off to the side, and like your electronics just having like a patch that as this thing spins, the energy just gets sent to it. So nothing's plugged in anymore. You just put it out. There's no wires, and it's like a patch. So if you have stuff with wires, you'll just unplug your stuff and then put this sticker right on the back piece. And boom, it'll just power all your devices. And if you got more devices, you just turn it up again. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And now they're actually doing this.
Yeah, that's wild.
And that was years ago. I was like 7 years ago I talked about that. And when I was talking about it, people were like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, we're there.
Yeah. To close out, I want to get your thoughts on the possibility that what we're being presented in our reality is just another way to force us awake. I look at the most recent events with the Epstein files, how we're being gaslit and told that there never was any files. Well, some people may look at that and go, well, they're just throwing their cards out on the table. They know that we can't do anything. They're showing how all-powerful they are, and they know we won't do anything about it. And I used to look at it like that, but now I can see a bigger picture, that there's some greater force at play that is showing their hands to us so that we can then become aware that this reality is not what we think it is, and these people that are playing those roles are doing just that, except they believe they're actually doing what they're doing in this reality for certain purposes, but there's some greater force, even their higher selves, like we were saying, that have a different objective. And this is the collective objective, and that's to wake the fuck up.
Yeah. Well, you could be influenced in every direction. That's why they're giving you, they're making you swim in the deep end with content that's terrible, because they have to pump it out as quickly as possible, and they can't create. So they amalgamate from everything else and then take it, and it's like the same old thing over and over. So the more they give you, the worse it gets for them, right? And then, okay, so I'm on Source's team, Ayahuasca's team, Mother Gaia's team. I can tell you that Trump is a chaos coordinator. That's what he does, chaos. So he's stirring the pot. You can like what someone does and not like what someone does at the same exact time. Mind your business and move on. If it's not directly affecting you right at this moment, you still have to go get gas and get milk, and you got to feed the baby and go for a walk. You're getting heavy. Stop eating that and stop drinking this. You got enough to worry about. That is a script meant to play out. And as it plays out, what does he do? He says during the conference, oh, we're still talking about this guy Epstein. I said, do you know when that whole rotation ended? I watched the whole clip thing. The name was said enough times to keep it specifically. It was almost like you purposely did that. So now everyone starts going Epstein. Like, we're just talking about the war. Who's this Epstein guy? Those people are now getting on board. So it's like, nah, if they got something, they should be showing it. So now you got people in the background coming to the foreground. It's like waves collectively getting people. Now, what if he has everything? I was playing fun devil's advocate the other day. What if he has everything, not going to say nothing to no one, and he looks at them and goes, okay, person A, he brings them out and goes, what's this picture? Is that you? And then they go, oh, you saw that. And then he goes, is this you in the video? Okay, you're going to stand down and not say a word. You're not going to publicly or even privately say a bad word. You're going to let it happen. And the minute that you get involved, oh, you were at the Diddy party.
Yeah.
What if he's doing that to them? And they all just went, because they're a bunch of, I noticed that the enemy is very weak. When eyes go on them, they're weak. That's why they wear masks, right? You take the mask off them, it's like the Scooby-Doo character. Ah, you kids. Everyone's staring at you and focusing on you. It becomes, oh, what's going on here? No, you're alone. We outnumber you. And we don't have to physically do anything. We could just say no to you across the board 100%. No. And just ignore them. Don't put them on TV. Don't talk to them. Shut them on Twitter. Tell them, get the retard finder to find this guy. Right? And they slowly go away. You let them say all the things they wanted to say and then go, no. We're not. It doesn't matter how many hours you spend up here debating. And nobody cares. And you look like a clown, by the way, too, with all the things. And they go, oh, I look like a clown. They get all worked up and then they go away. Like parasites. When you drink tequila with some salt, they start doing this weird thing and then they're gone. But they lash out at that last moment.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you don't understand. What I don't understand is how you can't see Gavin Newsom is sitting there saying the thing saying. I can't even listen to him for more than 30 seconds and not realizing that he's a feminized snake man. Literally. He doesn't stop moving. He sits like a girl. Oh. You can't see there's something wrong with him? You can't tell?
Yeah.
Come on, give me a break.
It's crazy, man.
Give me a break. You know when you know someone's on drugs and we all got to collectively be like, nah. We know.
Yeah.
You say you're not, but I know you are, so I'm just going to let you keep talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I am of the mind that I'm not sure Trump has any good intentions or ever has. I don't know if he's controlled or if he's a wild card. I couldn't tell you. But I do see that whether he knows it or not, his actions are contributing to people becoming aware. They're contributing to the awakening somehow. But again, I couldn't tell you if he's aware or not.
Oh, he knows.
It's interesting.
Knows. They all know. They're lying. They look right at you and go,
so you
no.
think at that level of politics that they are aware of some of the higher levels of games?
Now. So how can I say this? So if an Archon at any point was involved with the other side of things, then on this side of things, there would be galactics involved, inner Earth beings with behind him. So it's like, they like to call it 5D chess, but with everything that's happening, look, not every chess move's a good move, and the guy's not a savior of any kind. He's here to toss the salad up because they're feeding you the bad part, the rotten part of the salad. So he's just tossing the salad so you become aware. But what he's doing is dropping the hints. And if you look at it from a psychological, I'm a psych major, right? So when I look at him, you say a name 3 times, even if it's out of right, like, oh, this stupid thing or whatever, you just put it in the public consciousness and you knew it. The whole meeting stopped and you looked and said, Epstein, we're still talking about this guy. Come on, this is the thing. Epstein, yeah, come. There's nothing there. There's not. Bro, this is world peace. Epstein. I'm like, dude, they're spellcasting. They know what they're doing beforehand. They have a script as well. I don't know if it's running him or how it works. Their involvement, that's their involvement. See, I came here to live through this. A lot of us came here to live through it. So you witness it, but move through it. So I don't let it bother me. You know, I have a Trump pen I write all my raps with, right? Wait. I have a couple of them, but my mom had them in the house. We don't pump nothing. Whatever. My friend came over. You can't say anything about Trump. Like, I've never seen such weird shit before, like live. I know this kid 40 years, right? He saw my pen. I was like, yo, I got this new rap. I want to kick it. Right. He looked at the pen and was like, oh, dude, put that away in my life.
Oh, man.
I was like, you serious? Bro, you don't even know. And I went, whoa. First of all, bring it down 1,000 notches. It's just a pen. Relax. I've never seen someone triggered like that. But it's there. Okay, so we follow it. People get involved, but as the individual, I am concerned, but I know it's a script, so it's going to play out. I don't know. Here's the part that's weird. So I see the split in me. I see how it is a split, and you can go to the transhumanism, but he's got to set that up.
Yeah.
But he's also got to set up the other side of the split. So I'll explain. Gold, silver, etc., connected, all revalued. He has to do it. We got the gold. That's the other side of the split, right? We're on this train, and then this side's a transhumanism train. We were all riding the train together, and at some point we made our decisions. And the trains at some point, like, we're cool now. We could go back down to the back of the train and jump in, and we could get involved. But at some points, the plane, they split, right? And I think in the old stuff, they text and stuff, they would talk about going east and going west, right? And I think that's the split. So he has to set up both because he's the guy that's there. So is he making moves? See, this is the part I don't understand. Is he making moves to like Bitcoin reserves and all this other stuff? And it's for the people that are going to gloriously go with it. And then Elon Musk is on the other side creating a third party. And then that creates the other timeline where people are like, no, I'm integrating with the AI to become smarter so I can deal with you with the American party, and then blah, 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 blah. And it's like a new thing happening. But we're like, I don't want to be involved with that.
Yeah.
So So is that the solar flare? Is that the solar event? Does that create the timeline split? Because when I went through it, I was awake for the solar flash. I go down for like an hour and I wake up and I see what's going on. And they're like, no, you guys have to help. The ones that are woke up, you got to help. And I had to help my family. What was considered rapture wasn't a rapture. They were just getting people off the planet on a ship. The ship was going up. They were doing this everywhere. And then after a few days, they brought everybody back down because there were people in airplanes that had to be rescued, cars, trains, buses, underground, above ground. Like, there were people in places that needed the help. It was almost like everyone needed like a tractor beam to pull the people out and to do this. And then we were there working with I don't know, we had a list of people we were working with. I saw my brother there. He was unconscious. They were all sleeping. They were like standing up and just sleeping. And I was like, this is weird. And they were like, if your brother wakes up, you could talk to him about the whole thing, but we don't think he's going to wake up. And he kind of wakes up and I go, oh, Rob, I got to tell you about this. And he goes, okay, tell me later. And those people don't remember. They don't remember. And then we do. But we're the ones that are also the same wave that pops off randomly that can stay awake through something like that. Like, you absorb the amount you need and then you're awake through it. So this is where we are,
man.
How does the split occur? I don't know, but I know it just happened in me. And if it's happening in me, it's happening in others. So just hang in there if you're going crazy or you went crazy through this and then it went to complete singularity, because the singularity creates a boo. Perfect. Yeah. It's not destructive. It's usually like, oh, I'm going crazy. And then you wake up the next day and you're like, I feel pretty good today. I'm going to go for a jog. It kind of just works its way back into your life.
Yeah. I think the phrase divine timing is very pertinent. That actually came up in a conversation with my higher self earlier, then again with my wife, then again in this conversation. So in divine timing, we shall see. And it's a fascinating time to be alive. I'll say that much. Frank, thank you so much. Before I let you go,
thank you so much.
Run the audience, how they can find you, how they can get all the good stuff.
All right, check it out. You can find me on YouTube at Fearless Tribe or at Frank Castle Fearless on YouTube, and Sons of the Sun Music on YouTube. And now I'm on Spreaker and everything connected. I guess that's through iHeart and all that. And you can just find us under Fearless with Frank Castle. And I appreciate you checking it out. Remember, everyone, stay fearless. And remember, the universe rewards your bravery for it. The system works for you, not against you, your source. And it's time to show the example that we are. Thank you so much for having me back on the show. Thank you so much for spending time listening to us today. And I hope you get to take away some nugget of information that just blasts you into your future.
100%. You know? I love it, man. Always wonderful discussion. We'll be doing it again soon. Until next time, everyone, have an excellent evening. We'll talk again tomorrow. We'll see you then.